Hey everybody, it's Maria. Welcome back to my channel. I heard Gracie barking as she does when someone walks by, because dogs do that, right? To try to protect us, I suppose. And I'm teaching her when it's okay. And this was the mail person, and she had delivered this box. And I was like, what? And then I remembered. So let's open it up and see if you can see what it is just from the inner box or the bag. This came from a company called Lotkey. Okay, well, if it's this size, one would think, I would think it's a ukulele, but I don't think it is. Goodie bag. All right, now, there's another thought I had. Could it be a banjo lily? I don't think so. So, the goodie bag, real quick, has, maybe you'll have a hint. The goodie bag has picks, but they're finger picks, okay? Metal finger picks. I think there are a few regular picks too as well. And a nice strap with hooks, that's another hint. And this little pickup, it's a stick-on pickup. And a tuner, and a few of these little perloid picks. All right, so we opened the goodie bag, has some really neat stuff that we could use, and a case, which is backpack, which I love. This looks very portable. I could take it on a hike, and you can go places with this. So let's open it up. Is it a banjo? Is it a banjo-lele? Is it a ukulele? Is it a mini guitar? What is it? Of course, you have a strap zipper here too. All right, this doesn't open the whole way. But it's not so bad, because it's a pretty light instrument. It comes with, oh, some more goodies. Extra strings. Oh, there's your bridge. It's a floating bridge. And the coordinator rod adjuster and a truss rod adjuster. I think you know what it is. If you know anything about banjos, they have a coordinator rod. So here we go. Ooh, that's pretty. It's a mini banjo. Is that cool? This one looks very well made. Oh, I love the wood on that. That looks like a sapele or maybe mahogany. Very nice. It's got a back. I think they call this a resonator. You can unscrew it, and you can stuff, things in it like, paper or cloth or something to dampen the sound if you'd like. And you can tighten this head if you want. And I love the perloid 5th string here. This is like your drone string. And there are the other nice closed gear tuners. I'm going to come up front so you could come up close so you could see it. This is where you would adjust the truss rod. It says Lotkey. It's pretty. It's like in a kind of engraved, but not engraved. It's sort of like, I don't know what you would call that. My father used to do like these rub-on things on wood, because it's like on the wood, but it's not engraved, but it's not painted. I don't know what the name of that was, but it looks pretty. Okay, and the closed geared tuners right there. This is the perloid one I was talking about. I don't know if you could, let me try to get it. Can't seem to focus it. There you go. You see? Very pretty. And this is what it looks like. You loop end strings. Okay. And they even give you something here, this plastic thing, which is how you place the bridge. It's to help you place the bridge correctly. So let's open this up. I like when they do this to protect the strings. It's like a parchment paper. And this is what I was referring to. You see, it's not a ruler, but it's to help you put the bridge in the exact correct spot. Now you may have to adjust it a little depending on how the strings are and how they stretch and all that for the intonation, but at least you have a really good guesstimate. So you put it under the strings. There we go. So you just have to fiddle with it until you see it's under there. Now this is strictly just to place the bridge. So you get it exactly where it is and you put the bridge right where it says bridge. Can't get any easier than that, right? And believe me, this really helps. Otherwise you would have to get a ruler and start measuring, and they make it really easy so you don't have to measure. So I'm going to take the bridge out. I'm really not sure what the sandpaper is for because there's nothing rough about this instrument, but maybe it has to do with the frets. If perhaps you feel that the frets are rough, maybe during different climate changes. I'm in New York, as I've mentioned before, and it's September, almost October, and there'll be a few months from now when the heat kicks on. It's forced air heat, and it will get very dry in my house, so I have to humidify. And so you have to put a little humidifier in the case. Otherwise, the wood could crack. And sometimes when it gets dry, the wood shrinks and the fret edges come up. But I think with the proper humidity, you shouldn't have to worry about it because right away, right now, it's very smooth. There's no rough edges. Okay, so I don't know if I have to loosen the strings anymore. And there is a way, I hope I have it correct. I might have to look at the videos because there's a certain way you put the bridge where it kind of slants towards, I think, the front. Not really sure. So we're just going to put it on. And if it doesn't sound right, I could always adjust it. It goes one way or the other. So we have a 50-50 chance of it being correct. That's pretty good, 50-50. So now what I've done is I've gently placed it. The strings go in these little, there's little knots or slots. So I just want to make sure if this is right. It's going to be right. I think it is because there's this extra string here, so it's a little wider here. So you kind of place it like that. And now I'm going to gently flip it up. I hope I don't break any strings. But they did give us extra strings, which is nice. Ah! I think I have to loosen the strings. I'm too nervous that I'm going to break something. So my suggestion is loosen the strings before you do what I just did. And it worked, but then I couldn't slide it up. So let's loosen these strings. It's just, I was being a little lazy because then I have to retighten them, but it's fine. You have to tune them anyway, so. Better to be safe than sorry. I don't want to start off changing strings. Not my favorite thing to do. I'd rather be playing. Okay, now they're pretty loose. So I'm going to just place that, okay. Making sure this is still right. Right here, it says bridge. Now you have to move the strings. Okay, so you have to move the strings to get them into the little slots that are here. Okay. Right now, it's leaning towards the tail. I think maybe they said that was what it needs to lean towards. You have to go on Banjo forums or Google it. And especially if you get any buzzing or any artifacts or if the intonation's not right. It may need to be flipped around. But see, it says bridge. After I take this out, I'll do it now, because again, this is just a guide. So I want to make sure that the strings are laying on the fretboard. So I want to make sure this bridge isn't one way or the other too far. So that looks about right. I just shifted a tiny bit. Okay. And now I'm going to tune it up to pitch. This is, I think it should still be Banjo bluegrass tuning, which is G, I believe. I don't want to pop any strings, so I'm gonna stop the video and just look up the specs to make sure of the tuning that they say it should be. So before I tune it, I just want to go back to looking at this lovely instrument. It actually really feels nice. It's one of the better ones that I've seen, and I've only seen a couple of the smaller ones in person. So I think they did a really nice job in workmanship, and materials look nice. There's no glue. It's pretty. It's got this like ivory binding. Look at that. It's truly a little mini banjo. I guess they call it a tenor because it's the tenor size ukulele size, because I was a little confused because a tenor banjo only has 4 strings. This is your standard 5-string banjo. So I'm also going to put the strap on so you can see it and hopefully tune it up and maybe play a little tune. Hang on. This is what Gracie's doing. Looking at the box with interest. Okay. All right, I have it all tuned up. I put the strap on. I put it here and on the bottom. I have tuned it to an open C tuning because the strings will pop if I try to tune it to open G, which is higher. If I go too low to open G, it's too floppy. So it's the mini banjos are usually in this key with these strings. Look at her. But you can use the open G tuning if you get thicker strings. But the strings that came on this are for the open C tuning. And I was correct, it is Sapele. Back inside, it's got the maple bridge. It's really sounds nice. And I just literally tuned it up. And also, by the way, just to get the intonation correct, I did adjust the bridge a little bit further back so that when I hit the open C, which is this high one, I go over to here and it's perfect. You go to the, what fret is that? I don't even know. 14th or something? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17th fret. Because it's down a little further. Gracie, shh. Gracie, calm down. It's okay. The last 4 to check the intonation is just like a regular stringed instrument, like a guitar, ukulele. It's the 12th fret, which is the octave. So you go G, perfect, G, C, C, E, E, G, G. So it's perfectly intonated. And all I had to do was shift this a little bit further down. So they give you an idea of where it should go, and then you just, you jimmy it a little bit. If it's too sharp, you have to push it this way. If it's too flat, you can get it closer to the neck. Sounds really nice. Kind of cool, because ukuleles are really kind of like in a C tuning, if you will. Not an open C, but you play a lot of songs in C. So this is kind of cool because you can actually play along maybe a little more easily if you know ukulele. So I'm just going to play some sing-songy songs and then maybe some picking ones. So this goes like this. So when you play open, instead of G, it's now a C. That's why they call it open C, because you don't have to fret anything. So, in a cavern, in the canyon, excavating for a mine, lived a miner, 49er, and his daughter Clementine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. Drove she ducklings to the water every morning just at 9, stuffed her toe against my darling, oh my darling Clementine. You were lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. I like the way it sounds. And for me, I play a lot of ukulele, so it's a very familiar scale length. I just have to get used to this 5th string, because sometimes it like wigs me out because it's there and it doesn't feel like it should be there when you're over here. But it's just something to get used to, and you'll get used to it. So you can play right off the bat some easy songs. This book is for the open G tuning, but all you have to do is try to figure it out like yourself. Like I just counted up and said, okay, it's not in G. If it's a G, so then it's a C, so it's not a D7, it's a G7, and just with a little figuring out, you can do so as well. So the chords, shapes will be the same, just the names will be different. So you don't have to worry about it, just go by the shapes. Just remember that what it's calling it is not the right name when you're doing it in a book for a regular open G banjo, which is what this is. So, she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. A lot of fun with this. Something I forgot to mention before, make sure that on the 5th string, it's in that little white slot here. It's an extra fret holder. It's almost like it takes the place of a nut. So it's like a 5th fret mini nut that you put the string in to hold it into place. So, and you can absolutely play, traditional type of music, bluegrass music, and learn from a book like this, because you're just following along on the tablature. So it doesn't matter what key you're in. So, for example, you can play with some pinches and rolls. And I'm just still a beginner, but this is called Groundhog. To get better, but I do enjoy it when I do pick it up, so I should do it more. Maybe with this little one I will. So you can play traditional songs even with just the pinch. That's boiling cabbage down. Boiling cabbage down, boy. Make them something brown, boy. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da. Boiling cabbage down. Weird words, but anyway. It's a lot of fun. So enjoy. I don't think there's anything else I forgot to tell you. Just keep practicing and you'll get better, unlike myself, who really haven't put enough effort into banjo. But every time I get a new one, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go back to banjo. There's a lot of distractions. Gracie's one of them. And now she's finally quiet. I mean, she's a puppy, she's excited. And now she's tired. She tired herself out. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you Lotkey for sending this to me. It really is lovely, and so light. This might be my go-to banjo, you know, because I can put it in a knapsack and practice the same licks that I can eventually do on the bigger size banjo. So that's kind of nice too. So it might be more accessible. The other ones, the other ones are a little heavier and so a little more cumbersome. This might be just what I need to get back into playing, because I really love this book and I like learning. And I kind of like this. Is fun. All right, enjoy. Take care, everybody.